I used to think the world owed me something. When I was younger, I believed that if I was kind, if I struggled, if I felt pain, someone would notice. That the universe, or at least the people around me, would step in, offer help, lend a hand, say something kind. But that day never came. Not once. Not in my darkest moments. Not when I was desperate, anxious, heartbroken, or alone. No one came. And slowly I realized why. Because the harsh truth is, nobody cares. Not really. Not deeply. Not the way you want them to. Everyone is too busy with their own problems, their own suffering, their own little world of stress and survival. Yes, they might nod. They might say something nice. They might even mean well for a moment. But once they walk away, it's back to their lives, and you're left to face your pain alone. At first, this realization crushed me, but then it set me free. The myth of rescue. We are raised to believe in rescue. From fairy tales to films, someone always shows up. A prince, a savior, a mentor, a friend, to pull the broken character from the ashes. We wait for someone to knock on the door of our misery and say, "I see you, let me help." But reality is colder than fiction. No one is coming. Not your friends, not your ex, not your boss, not your family, not society. No one is coming to rescue you from your depression, your failures, your loneliness, or your lack of direction. And the sooner you accept this, the faster you begin to transform your life. Because when you stop waiting for a hero, you become one. People don't understand pain they don't feel. Let's be honest, people don't care about what they don't experience. Your anxiety, your sleepless nights, your fear of the future. They might say, "It'll get better," or "hang in there," but they don't feel what you feel. They're not living in your head. They're not inside your heart. Your storm is invisible to them, and you cannot expect compassion from those who have never walked through your fire. Yes, some will try, some will care, in passing, but most will forget your pain the moment their phone rings or they get hungry or bored. It's not personal, it's just human nature. Everyone is fighting their own silent battles. You're not the only one in pain, and that means you're not the only one being ignored. Why this realization matters, you might wonder. Why would anyone want to hear this? Why such a cruel message? Because truth is the most powerful medicine, and only when you face the truth can you build from it. This is not hopelessness, this is freedom. You've spent too long waiting for people to validate you, to lift you, to save you, and every time they didn't, you felt like a victim. But you are not a victim. You are a warrior who hasn't been told the truth. Here it is. You are the only one responsible for your life. Once you stop looking outward, you finally turn inward, where real change begins. From weakness to strength. I remember lying on the floor one night, unable to move. Bills overdue, career in ruins, relationships broken, friends gone. I sent messages. No one replied. I called. No one picked up. That night, I stopped begging. I stopped hoping. I stopped expecting. And the next morning, I rose differently. I didn't rise because I was healed. I rose because I had no other choice. I realized no one was coming, and that was my cue to become something more. I stopped crying and started working. I stopped blaming and started building. And slowly, I rose. One rep at the gym, one book read, 1 hour of sleep, one healthy meal, one day at a time. That was 10 years ago. Today, people ask me, "How did you do it?" And I smile, because the answer is simple. No one helped me. No one saved me. I saved myself. The wisdom of the ancients. Even the greatest philosophers knew this truth. Lao Tzu said, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." Epictetus, the Stoic slave turned philosopher, once wrote, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." And Nietzsche, misunderstood, intense, brutally honest, said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will often be lonely and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." These were not just words, these were survival codes. How this empowers you. Let me tell you something that might sound cruel, but is the key to freedom. You are not special. Your pain is not unique. Your trauma is not the only one. Your excuses are not new. And that's beautiful, because it means you're not broken beyond repair. It means thousands, millions, have felt what you feel and still rebuilt a powerful life. It means you are not alone in being alone. And once you stop needing the world to care, you're free to start caring about yourself. Be your own rescue. The world won't clap when you start. They won't support you when you're weak. They might mock you, ignore you, doubt you. That's fine. Because one day, when your body changes, when your mind sharpens, when your bank account grows, when your peace radiates, they'll ask, "What happened?" And your answer will be, "I stopped waiting. I started building, alone." This is where transformation begins. So if you're lying there, like I once did, defeated, invisible, bitter, hear me. No one's coming. But that's not the end. That's the beginning. This is your moment to rise, to fight, to stop begging, to stop complaining, to stop hoping for someone to fix you. You are not weak. You are just untrained. Train your mind, train your body, train your spirit, not to impress others, but because it's the only way out. Final thought. Harsh love. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to wake you. Because comfort never built empires. Pain did. Discipline did. Truth did. So take this as a slap and a hug, a warning and a blessing, a knife and a map. The harsh truth is, nobody cares. But the beautiful truth is, you don't need them to. All you need is to believe again, not in the world, not in others, but in yourself. I used to blame everyone, my parents, my boss, the system, the economy, God, anyone but me. If I was broke, it was because the world was unfair. If I was alone, it was because others didn't understand me. If I failed, it was because someone else didn't do their part. And this mindset, this victim mindset, stole years from my life. Because when you hand over responsibility, you also hand over your power. The lie we tell ourselves, we lie to ourselves to protect our ego. We say things like, "It's not my fault. I had no choice. They did this to me. The world is against me." But each time you say that, you reinforce one toxic belief, that you're helpless. And here's the brutal truth. You are not helpless. You are just hiding from responsibility. Because taking responsibility hurts. It's heavy, but it's the only way to grow. The moment my mind changed, I was sitting on a train platform after losing my job, again. I had enough excuses to fill a novel. But that day, something cracked. A single thought hit me like a slap. What if it's me? What if I'm the problem? What if the way I think, act, speak, and choose is exactly why I'm stuck? That thought was terrifying. but also electrifying, because if I was the problem, then I could also be the solution. Jocko Willink, extreme ownership. There's a man named Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL. He talks about something called extreme ownership. It means this: take responsibility for everything in your life, even things that seem outside your control. Your team fails, it's your fault. Your relationship falls apart, your fault. Your life is off track, still your fault. Not because you caused every event, but because how you respond is always your choice. This mindset isn't comfortable, but it's powerful. Because once everything becomes your responsibility, you no longer have to wait for anyone to change your life. You do it yourself. Responsibility equals power. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's a weapon. When you say, "This is on me," you shift from victim to creator, from reaction to action. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more, "They should have helped me." Now it's, "I'll help myself. I'll change this. I'll build from nothing." And once you take ownership, everything changes. You stop blaming the past. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop needing permission. You become unstoppable. The heavy questions. Radical responsibility means asking hard questions. Why do I attract toxic people? Why do I quit every time it gets hard? Why do I stay in jobs I hate? Why do I let fear control me? These questions aren't comfortable, but they're necessary. Because if you're always the victim, you never get better. Responsibility is not guilt. It's not shame. It's not self-hate. It's the opposite. It's the path to freedom. Discipline, the highest form of self-love. People think self-love is spa days and sweets. No. Real self-love is discipline. Waking up early when you don't feel like it. Working out when no one's watching. Saying no to things that destroy your focus. Studying while others party. Discipline says, "I love myself too much to stay weak. I love my future too much to stay in comfort." Radical responsibility leads to radical discipline, and discipline leads to transformation. Own your mind. Your mind is a battlefield, and most people lose. Why? Because they think every thought is truth. But it's not. Your mind says, "You can't do this." Answer, "Watch me." Your mind says, "You're tired." Answer, "We move anyway." Your mind says, "It's too late." Answer, "Then I'll start now." You don't need motivation, you need responsibility. Once you own your mind, you own your reality. What the philosophers knew, Marcus Aurelius, emperor and stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is radical responsibility, not controlling the world, but mastering yourself. The Bhagavad Gita says, "Man is made by his belief. As he believes, so he is." You are not your history. You are your choices. Now, no more blame, only build. When you blame, you lose time. When you complain, you lose energy. When you point fingers, you lose focus. All that energy, redirect it. Build your body, build your habits, build your income, build your character. Radical responsibility means you no longer say, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you ask, "What am I going to do about it?" Forgive yourself, then own everything. You'll mess up, you'll fall short, you'll make mistakes. That's okay. Responsibility doesn't mean perfection. It means when you fall, you get up. When you fail, you learn. When you're wrong, you admit it. No shame, Final words. It's all on you. This is not easy. It's easier to blame your parents, blame your job, blame your trauma, blame your ex. But easy never changed anyone. Radical responsibility is the hardest path, but it's also the most rewarding, because once you stop running and face yourself, you finally meet the person who can change your life. You. No more delays, no more escape routes, no more pity. From now on, repeat this every day. It's all on me. And that is where greatness begins. Build in silence. Let the results talk. There was a time when I wanted everyone to know I was changing. I told people I was going to the gym. I told them I started reading. I told them I was building a business. I told them I was healing. But deep inside, I wasn't doing much. I talked more than I acted. I promised more than I delivered. And every time I talked without action, my self-respect dropped. Then one day, I read a quote that hit me like a train. Lions don't need to roar, they just hunt. That was the day I decided, no more noise, only results. The addiction to validation. We live in a loud world. Everyone's posting, everyone's updating, everyone's broadcasting their every move. New chapter begins. Just signed up for the gym. Working on something big. Why? Because people want applause before they even achieve. They want praise just for starting. But starting is easy. Talking is free. Finishing is rare. You don't get strong by posting pictures of weights. You get strong by lifting them, quietly, painfully, daily. Why silence is powerful. Silence is misunderstood. People think silence means weakness, but silence is strength under control. When you're building in silence, you're not distracted by likes. You're not pressured to prove anything. You're focused on becoming, not performing. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them say nothing's happening. Because one day, when you show up transformed, you won't need to say a word. Your results will scream. The wisdom of the East Lao Tzu once wrote, "He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know." This doesn't mean you never communicate. It means you don't boast. You don't sell your dreams. You don't beg for belief. You show up. You work. And when the time comes, you deliver. In Zen tradition, there's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But more importantly, when the master is ready, the world listens, whether he speaks or not. Be so excellent that silence becomes loud. Let the doubters sleep. When you go quiet, people think you've disappeared. They think you've given up. Let them. Let them underestimate you. Let them forget you. Because behind the curtain, you're changing. You're healing. You're growing. You're preparing. There's no pressure in silence, just momentum. And one day they'll say, "Wait, where did this version of you come from?" And your answer will be, "From the shadows, where real work happens." Words are cheap. Discipline is priceless. Anyone can say, "I'm getting serious. This year is my year. No more games." But the difference between the talkers and the builders are too busy to talk. You won't see them at every party. You won't see daily updates. You won't hear them preaching. You'll just notice they're not the same anymore. Their eyes are sharper. Their walk is stronger. Their life is cleaner. Their habits are unshakable. The art of becoming untouchable. When you build in silence, you stop reacting to hate. You stop explaining your plans. You stop defending your choices. You understand that truth is revealed through consistency. People will say, "Where have you been?" And you'll say, "Working, bleeding, training, alone." The trap of external praise. Every time you chase praise, you give away power. You become addicted to validation. Did they like my progress? Did they notice my hustle? Do they believe in me? Forget that. If you need claps to keep going, you'll quit the moment it gets quiet. But when your fuel is internal, when your vision burns inside, you'll keep going, even if no one watches, even if no one cares, even if the world stays silent. You don't, because you know results speak the loudest. Your circle will shrink. As you go silent, your circle will shrink. You'll stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. You'll stop entertaining drama. You'll stop hanging around with noisemakers. And that's a good thing, because greatness is built in solitude. Mastery loves peace. Progress requires pruning. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone should. Let go. Lock in. Level up. Daily silence. Daily growth. Try this for a month. Say nothing about your goals. Post nothing about your grind. Share nothing about your progress. Just work. Eat clean. Train hard. Read deep. Sleep early. Focus completely. After 30 days, look in the mirror and you won't recognize yourself. Because silence doesn't just grow progress. It grows you. Don't prove. Improve. If they doubt you, good. If they mock you, better. If they ignore you, perfect. Because your job is not to prove them wrong. Your job is to improve yourself. And when you do, you won't need revenge. You won't need applause. You won't even need to say a word. Your life will speak louder than anything you could have said. The transformed you. Life on your terms. Silence. That's the first thing you feel when you've changed. Not applause, not fireworks, not a spotlight. Just a deep, unshakable silence. The kind that lives only in people who've rebuilt themselves from the ground up. You've been through the storm. You've walked through loneliness, responsibility, discipline, and doubt. You've stopped talking. You've stopped blaming. You've chosen yourself again and again. And now, you are no longer the person who started this journey. No longer reactive, but intentional. You don't react like you used to. When someone insults you, you don't explode. When life throws chaos, you don't collapse. You respond calmly, wisely, because now you control your internal state. You've trained your mind, and the world no longer drags you like a puppet on strings. You don't run from pain. You've faced it. You don't beg for love. You've become it. You don't chase respect. You radiate it. This is the power of transformation. Your life, your rules. You no longer live by society's script. You should have this by 25. You must be married by 30. You need a normal job. You need to act like everyone else. You've burned that rule book. Now you live by your own code. You wake up when you choose. You work on what matters. You protect your peace. You say no without guilt. You choose your people wisely. This is freedom, not in theory, but in practice. You're not trying to be liked. People ask, why are you so quiet now? Because you don't need validation anymore. You're not performing. You're not trying to impress. You're not posting every step of your journey. You're living fully, deeply, quietly. And ironically, that's when people start to notice you. Not because you shouted, but because you became undeniable. Your peace is loud. Your discipline is loud. Your growth is loud. Without saying a word. You've found inner stillness. You don't chase chaos anymore. You don't fear boredom. You sit with yourself and feel peace. That's rare. In a world addicted to noise, you've become still. Not lazy, not passive, but anchored. You make decisions from calm, not
what happened to you, and you'll smile, not arrogantly, but kindly, because they don't know what you've faced. They didn't see the nights of doubt. They didn't feel the loneliness. They didn't witness the silence. They only see the result. And that's okay, because this wasn't for them. It was for you. You weren't trying to prove. You were trying to become. And now that you have, you don't need to explain it. You've become your own home. You don't need to run anymore. Not to people, not to substances, not to distractions, because you've found a home inside yourself. You trust yourself, you respect yourself, you're proud of who you are and who you're becoming. That's the kind of wealth no money can buy. This is just the beginning. Transformation is not a finish line, it's a way of life. Every day you wake up and choose discipline. You choose truth. You choose silence. You choose strength. And every day the world gets a little quieter because the noise no longer lives inside you. You've outgrown it. Final words. Walk alone. Shine. Anyway, the most powerful people in the world, you rarely hear them speak because they don't need to prove anything. They've already become everything. You are now one of them. So walk your path, live your truth, stay in your silence, move with peace, and let the world watch in awe as you rise without a sound.